Hi everyone, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and I made this cute little vintage Christmas box out of the trio of Dollar Tree boxes that you see hanging up in the party section. And I had made this during the summer, and I was so glad to find this. I thought I had completely lost the footage, but I found it and I was able to retrieve it. And I'm also going to show you how to make these really cute little easy vintage Christmas tags that go on the inside. And you can use this for yourself or give this to a friend or a co-worker. So stay tuned and I'll show you exactly how I made this box. Now, before we move on, I do want to invite you to my friend Craftie's YouTube channel. Her name is spelled Craftie, and she has a lot of wonderful Christmas craft tutorials up. So check her out. I'll make sure to put her link in the Show More description box below this video, as well as on my blog. So with that said, we'll move on. This is a box that we'll be working with. And I'm going to take out the cotton part and the little silica gel pack. I won't need that. And so what I did was I purchased this image, this vintage image with a little poem on it from an Etsy seller by the name of Heartland Mix. And it was a digital download, so you print it out. And if you want to know the settings I used, I just clicked the image and opened it up in the Windows photo viewer, and I had my settings just like this. So I did print this out on 110-pound white cardstock. You can buy the cardstock on Amazon or Etsy. I'm sure they would have them in the craft stores as well. Okay, so if you don't have a printer, don't worry. You can always use a Christmas card. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this White Rain aerosol hairspray that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hold this spray about 12 inches away from the little image here, and then I'm just going to give it a coat of hairspray. Now you're going to need to let this dry thoroughly. This will curl up on you a little bit when you spray it, but don't worry about it, because once it's dried, we'll be able to straighten it out, and by the time we glue this on the box with our turbo tacky glue, then everything will lay flat. It'll be just fine, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that with a hairspray. I'm going to allow it to dry, and then I'll be back and we'll glue it on the box. So as you can see, this is thoroughly dry now, and you have to leave it for several hours in order to make sure that it's completely dry. I'm just rolling this marker on the back of it like this. It's not going to straighten it out 100%, but I'm just doing it to straighten it out a little. And once you glue this onto the top of the box, it's not going to be curled anyway. Okay? So don't worry too much about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Turbo Tacky Glue by Aleene's, and I'm going to glue this right here. I'm going to center it. So let's take this off and put some of this glue on around the edges. And I'm going to spread this to the edges. That's the most important part. And you have a limited amount of time to work with this because the Turbo Tacky Glue, the Turbo Tacky Glue, it does dry pretty quickly because it has more resin in it than the regular tacky glue. Okay, so I'm going to try to center this best I can. And I think that looks pretty good, so I'm just going to tap that down a little bit. Then I'm going to open this box and turn the lid over, and then I can press down from the back as hard as I want to. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. Okay. So now what I'm going to allow this to do is just to dry thoroughly. Okay. And then once that dries thoroughly, I'll be back. Okay, so now as you can see, this is totally and completely dry. It's on there. So I'm going to start by taking some little Dollar Tree pearls, the adhesive ones, and they do have these pearls in different colors too. I've seen them in red and light blue and this, and also this white. Okay, so now I'm just going to be placing these here. I'm going to start right here at the very bottom in the very corner, and I'm not going to press it down yet. I'm just going to lay it down. That looks pretty good. So let's see, I think I can add 3 more. Okay. And I'm going to try to space this to where it looks like part of the first strand and not something I just tacked on after. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Make sure that it's even before I press it down. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So at this point, I'm going to be pressing this down. And if you want to, you can lift up each one of these pearls, one on each end, and anchor it with some hot glue. And I might do that because although these are sticky, I just don't know if the pearls would lift up or not. So I'm going to lay that down, just tap it slightly, because I don't want a bunch of hot glue to be running out from underneath the pearl. I'll lift this up. You only need just a dab, you don't need a lot. Okay. Alright. So now I'm going to do the top the exact same way. Right there, as I did the bottom. About like this. And I'm just going to lay it down, make sure that everything is straight before I press it down. And I'm going to add 3 more pearls. Right here. I think that looks about right. So I'm going to press this down, just like that. And then I'm going to anchor the ends here with hot glue. And something else I didn't think about, I attached the last 3 on, so I'm going to anchor these 2 as well, on the top and the bottom. So when I'm finished with that, I'll come back. Okay, so now I'm going to add some of these red Dollar Tree rhinestones on the sides. And just gonna stretch it slightly and then press this down like that. And I'm going to go ahead and anchor these two when I'm finished as well. And whether you want to anchor it or not just depends on how sticky you feel your rhinestones are. Pull this slightly. Okay, so now I'm going to anchor them and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. That was my phone. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and finished putting the rhinestones here, and I anchored both the ends. So the next thing I have to do is decide what I'm going to put around here. Now there's a lot of different options. You can use pearls or rhinestones or the glitter ribbon that I showed you. You can also, if you want, use like rickrack or something like that, you know, to put around the sides. It's totally up to you. So I don't know, this seems kind of fun, so I might just go that route. It has the red and the green in it, and I can just wrap it on around. So I might do that, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to do that. So now the first thing I'm going to do is cut the end off just to make sure it's as straight as possible. And I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me wrap it all the way around, but I am going to start right here at on one of the ends here, like that. So let's put a little bit of hot glue at the end. Right here. And I'm just going to give it a second so it'll grab. And I'm not going to put hot glue on every solitary spot. I'm just going to do it like every other spot, just a little bit at a time, because you want it to grab. Okay, and then I'm just going to do that all the way around, and when I'm completely finished with this, I'll be back. Okay, so I wrapped it all the way around, just like that, and when I came to the corner, I just waited for it to dry, and then whatever I had left, I cut like this with my detail scissors. Now you might be asking yourself where I bought this, and I did buy it during the Christmas season at Walmart. They had these rolls with all kinds of Christmassy ribbons and trims, and they were only $1 each. And I know for a fact that the last couple of years Walmart has carried this during that season. So you have to look at the dollar ribbon that they bring in, the seasonal dollar ribbon, and they should have it again this year. Now I will tell you, it goes very quickly. So if you see it, you better grab it and not wait until the next time, because this goes very fast. Okay. Alright, so this is what we have so far. I think I'm just going to go around the bottom part here with either red or green rhinestones. I'll have to decide. And I'm going to use the same method as I did on the first box, and I'm going to anchor it at the very beginning and the very end as well. And like I said, it's totally up to you whether you feel it needs to be anchored or not, depending on how sticky your rhinestones are. So I think I just may do the green. Yeah, I might just do the green on this. I don't know, maybe the red. Let's see. I think I prefer the green. Okay, so I'm going to start And I'm going to leave the lid on so you can see exactly how much room. Okay? I'll be back. Okay, so now we have a fun little box. We're going to do a little more to the top, but this is what we have so far. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stickles, my ice stickles, and I'm just going to make it look a little bit frosty here and there. Just kind of dragging it there with the nozzle, just around this part. You don't have to do this, but I just thought it would be kind of nice. Kind of gives it a little more of that retro feel too, I think. You can also spread this around with a brush if you prefer. Yeah, so once that dries, and then give it a little sparkle. Okay. Alright, so while this is drying, now we're going to go on to what we're going to put inside. Oops, one more thing. I almost forgot. I'm going to put this button here, this little flat back rhinestone, in the front. So I'm just going to put a small amount on in the middle. And I'm going to attempt to eyeball it. I think that's pretty good right there. Yeah, okay. And I'll just press this on. And there we go. Okay. Okay, so I have been having a ball on Etsy. They have so many cute vintage images and collage sheets that it's just incredible. And most of them cost anywhere from $1 to $4 roughly to print out. These were $4.25, but once you buy them, you can print them out as many times as you want. And I purchased this from a seller called the store is called the Vintage Remix. And I just thought they were so cute. And I printed them out on 110-pound cardstock, white cardstock. I like that weight because it's a nice weight for tags. And you can buy that cardstock on Amazon or eBay. You can also purchase it, I'm sure, at just about any craft store. And I'll be sure to put the Vintage Remix link on my blog. Okay. Now this particular one I purchased from Pixie Whimsy. And then a couple of weeks later I went back to her store and it was gone. And I have not seen it since. So I don't know if she took down the store permanently or what. But there are a lot of beautiful collage sheets that you can purchase that are vintage Christmas. So with that said, what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to get my paper cutter out and I'm going to cut these cards. I could fussy cut them, but I just think they'll look so much neater using a paper cutter. And in the next frame, I will show you exactly how I set these to print in my Windows photo viewer. Okay, so as you can see, I cut my stacks of tags out and I put them in the box. And I took the cotton out of the box, and as you can tell, it gives it a lot of depth. So that's a good thing. So that means we can decorate our tags and we can put them back in here and it'll still fit. Now I think this would make a lovely gift for anyone. I think that it really shows that you took some time with this, and it is definitely something that someone will use, or Christmas tags. You can also take this in a completely different direction if you'd like. You can decorate a box to have like a birthday theme on the front, and then print out some birthday tags. You could do the same thing for Valentine's Day. That would be really cute. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide where to place your hole. Now, if you have a card like this and there's not really any room to punch a hole at the top without going through the image, you're going to have to take your hole punch and make it right here, like in the corner, okay? Just like that. And that way the tag can hang this way. Now I'm using 12 inches of baker's twine for each tag because I don't want to be stingy on the cord here. As I've purchased tags in the store before, brought them home, and the baker's twine that came with the card was barely enough to even tie onto the package, and it gets frustrating. So I wanted to make this a nice length, okay? And I measured all of these out so they would all be the same length. Now, if you have other cards like this, where it'll be fine to put the hole in the middle, I just folded a piece of card, and you can see the line right here. You can take like a little pencil. I don't have a pencil with me right now, so I'll just use this pen. And you can look at the line here and just kind of line it up, maybe put just a little dot for you to punch out like this. Okay. And then just take your baker's twine and then put this in here like so. So I'm going to do this on all the cards first, and then I'll give you some tips on decorating them and show you how to make a really cute little embellishment to put on these cards as well. Okay, so let me finish this up and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to be decorating these cards, and I'm going to show you how to make these little flowers here. They were so easy, and I really think that they added a lot to the card. Now you may or may not want to use trims or little 3mm pearl trims on this. It's up to you. You could do that. You could glue that on. You could use the 3mm white pearl trim. As far as using glitter, if you use any glitter, I would highly recommend using a white ultra-fine glitter. This is Recollections. I don't have much left. And it's called Glitz. And for the glue, I just took some Elmer's clear glue and put it in this little bottle. It has a little needle nose. I bought a set of 3 of these bottles at Michael's, but I know they have them on eBay and also Amazon. I think BB Craft carries it too. And what I do is, after I use the bottle, if you put the cap back on and you wake up in the morning and you see that when you squeeze it, nothing's coming out, you can take some 28 gauge wire. This is just from a roll of artistic wire I had. And just lay the needle nose on your finger, and then just slide this 28 gauge in like this, and it completely clears it. Okay? Now, if you're going to put glitter on your card, I would also recommend that only touch up maybe like a little bit here, like on the white parts. Don't think I would do it on the colored parts. I don't know how it would turn out with this white iridescent glitter. But like if you wanted to put a little bit on the white parts here. Then you could do that. You don't need a lot. Just need enough just to have just the tiniest of sparkle. Tap it and, you know, just allow it to dry. And see, that's really all you need. You know, I thought about going around the skirt. I may do that yet, but we'll see. And I did use the stickles on top of the box here on the lid, but I went back and I fixed it. Because, to be quite honest with you, when I put it on, it looked okay, but when it dried, I did not like it. And it's not because I didn't like the glitter itself, because I love stickles. But this particular iridescent glitter in Icicle has kind of a blue and a gold tone mixed together, which is fine on some things, but for this project I just didn't care for it. So I would recommend, if you were going to use stickles, I would use something like Diamond, where it doesn't have a lot of the gold flecks. Okay, we want more of a pure white iridescent. And I will show you the lid to that box at the very end of the video that I went back and fixed the best I could. Okay, so next part, I'm going to show you how to put together these little flowers. Okay, so to start with this, I purchased this little 5/8 inch little flower punch, and I bought it at Michael's just a few weeks ago, and it's by Recollections, and I think I paid $5.99 for this. I don't know. I don't think that was the sale price either. I think that was the regular price. I'm not too sure about that, but I do know that Michael's carries these. Okay, and I just punched out a bunch of little flower shapes. I used this metallic gold. This was $1.99 a sheet, but it goes a long ways if you're making these little flowers. And I also used some of this scrapbooking paper, and then just plain red scrapbooking paper. It was red cardstock. Okay, so you can use tweezers if you want. This is from a set of 3 tweezers that I found at the Dollar Tree, in with the rest of the hardware. And all 3 tweezers have different types of heads on them, but I'm just using this. I'm picking this up and holding it by one of the petals. Okay, then I'm just going to come in with the clear Elmer's glue, and I like the clear because if you do smudge it, you really can't see it. If you use tacky glue, you'll definitely be able to see it. Okay, and then I just come in with another flower and just lay this on top, and then I'm going to turn the petals until the top gold petal is in between the 2 red petals. Okay, so I'm going to let go of this now. And this does dry rather quickly. Okay, see, I just touched it just a little bit, and then now we have a blossom. So I'm just going to let this dry thoroughly. Okay, and if you need to, you can tap it at the top to push it into the glue. I'm going to be making a whole bunch of these. I made a few, as you can see here in the corner, but when we're finished, I'll show you what else to do to give it a little bit of a 3D effect. Okay? Okay, so you're going to need something that's kind of squishy like this. And so what I did was I just took a rectangle of felt and I folded it several times, and then I just put a little clip on it like that. Okay, and I'm going to take one of my little flowers that have dried, And if you have dotting tools that that you use to decorate fingernails with, you can use those, but I'm just using the end of this small brush that I have from the Dollar Tree. It's a makeup brush, and I'm just pushing it down like this in the center, and then you lift it up and it has a little bit of a 3D effect. Okay, now you can put a little stone in the middle if you want, or I should say a little rhinestone. And this is a little rhinestone from the Dollar Tree. And all I do is put a little bit of glue in the middle. Now I know this is adhesive, but I just want to make sure that this is really going to stick. And you just allow it to dry, and then you have your little flower. So I'm going to make a bunch of these, and you can add it to your card when it's dry. I use hot glue, just a tiny dab of hot glue on the back of each one to put on the card. I mean, it would stick, I think, just as well if you used this, but I just wanted to make sure it was really adhered on there. Okay? Now you can also use other things to decorate your card if you want. These are just some examples. I'm not saying you have to do this, but you can add some narrow rickrack at the bottom. That would be cute. You might even want to add some 3mm pearl bead trim to the bottom of your card or wherever. You can just use your imagination. It doesn't have to be a lot in order to make it bling. So I'm going to work on my other cards, and then I'll show you how they turned out, and I'll definitely show you what I did to try to fix the top of my box. Okay? So with that said, I'll be back. I just love making these. I'm having so much fun, and they turn out so pretty. Okay, so I finished my tags, and here's the box. Now I did fix the top part. I just took some of this Elmer's clear glue, and I went all the way around here and kind of spread it out, and then I put this Recollections extra fine glitter in glitz on here, and it kind of covered up the stickles that I didn't want, so it looks like snow now. Okay, so this is how the tags came out. This, and there's 2 full sets, and they fit very nicely even with all of the decorations. Now I have to tell you, I did use this little bottle full of the Elmer's glue, and I loved it because it gave me absolutely amazing control in the little tiny areas that I wanted to place the glitter. And of course I shook this glitter on top of the glue, and a little flower here and there. There's this one. I thought that turned out kind of cute. And then there's this one. And as you can tell, I didn't cover the whole lamb, just his head, just the wings, just the halo. And same thing with this one. And then the little flowers that I made. And I just did the collar and the little light on the lamp. And this one is a little boy, so I put the narrow rickrack at the bottom, just like this one here. And I did put some glitter on, some glue and glitter on the snow part, and a little bit around his hat. Then I added the rickrack, and then here's the little girl. And I have another one of these. that was my prototype, so I thought, what the heck, I'll just throw that in too. And then with a little deer, you can see where I placed the glitter. And then I just did his ears and just certain white parts on him. Same with this. Added a little flower. And for some reason, these flowers kind of remind me of the retro Christmas ornaments. Do you remember the little tins that almost looked like cupcake liners? And they had the light in them. I don't know why, but it just reminds me of that. And then this one, I just put very little around the ears and here. And this one had a lot going on, so I just added some little pink rhinestones and some glitter. And then the little boy with the deer. And this one had quite a bit going on, so I just added glitter to the ornaments and his ear, and I just called it a day with this one. So, yeah. So I think they turned out pretty cute, and I think that this really is a nice gift for anyone because, like I said, just about everyone uses Christmas tags. And this shows that you put some time and effort in it, and this fits the box perfectly. You know, so if you still want to put just a few little shreds at the bottom, you would have room for that, but it's not absolutely 100% necessary. It's totally up to you what you want to do. Okay, so let me put these together too. Like this. All right. Okay, sorry about that. I took way too long doing that. Alright. And then I'll just wrap this around and set this in here. Just like that. So I hope you enjoyed this little project. I know that there was a lot of little different parts to it and everything, but it did turn out nice, and I think this would be a lot of fun if you did this during the summertime ahead of time, and then that way you can give the person this little thinking of you gift. If you give it to them real close to Christmas, they can always use it for the following year, but if you give it to them maybe 3 or 4 weeks in advance, they might be able to use it on the presents that they have for that year. So with that said, God bless each and every one of you, and have a very Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.